Hi, welcome to Distance with Wax Buffalo. I'm Alicia. I am super excited to jump on with you this week and introduce you to my friend Nick Maestas, who owns the Muchachos food truck that is the obsession of all of Lincoln. I feel like if there is a good party happening anywhere in Nebraska, Nick is there with his delicious food. And I'm super excited for you to meet him. He has just the best heart. He is such an amazing human, but also has a brand new adventure that he'll tell us all about. He's opening a new restaurant downtown, just blocks away from Wax Buffalo. So I'm going to consider it my second office and just basically live there half the time. But I'm very excited for you to hear all that's happening in his world. Thanks so much for jumping on, Nick. Hi.
Hey, how are you?
Thanks so much for jumping on with me today. I'm excited to chat all things muchachos.
Yeah.
Tacos are an obsession of mine, and I think everyone else in the world. Have you ever met anyone that's like, oh, I don't like tacos?
You know, I've run into people that like have opinions about tacos and like whether they should be done this way or, done traditional. And, I definitely have, everyone has an opinion about tacos. I don't know if I've ever run into anyone that doesn't like a taco. So
Same. But that is a good way to put it, that everyone has a specific type of taco they like.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can get really like nuanced, right?
I tell you what, like I'd never been more devastated than when Taco Bell got rid of their double-decker taco. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm boycotting. I'm done. Like, you had me, and then you lost me.
The impetus for like, I now must start my own taco company.
Yep, that's it. I am gonna make my own double-decker taco here because of that reason.
Nick, yes, and I will eat so many of them.
Fantastic.
I'm so excited to chat a little bit of tacos. Obviously, you and I have a little history. So we both worked at Arch Rival together.
Yeah.
Like working full time and also building our side hustles. So I think it was like a nice way for us to connect and become friends because we were
absolutely
similar crazy life where you just don't sleep. So
yeah.
Will you talk a little bit about, how did you even start the marination of the idea of muchachos? Because I know you kind of started out slow too and have slowly built. So
sure.
Give me the origin story.
Yeah, so I guess it all really started, if we're going to go back into the history of it. I lost, my grandfather. My grandparents raised me for a short period of time, and grew up with them, and they're my heart. Like they're amazing people, and lost my grandmother when I was super young, teenager or whatever, and my grandfather just passed away 9 years ago ish, and I've struggled with that one, like really, really struggled. I've drinking more than I should, and like not being the dad, not being the parent that I should be. And it just really struggled to find identity after him. Right. Yeah. And I always felt closest to him whenever I was cooking food that they would make and foods that I grew up eating. And I was like, you know what, why don't we try something? Why don't we try to, make something? Why don't we try to sell something? And we had a soft opening, and I made foods that they cooked all the time, and it went well, but it wasn't me. Like it was them, but it wasn't me. And while I liked it, some people, I think the funniest review was, your enchilada tastes like a Mexican runza, which I thought was kind of hilarious. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we should probably mix that up a little bit. So I smoked some meat and I put that into a tortilla, and I sold them at the garage sale days. And we ended up selling 200 pulled pork tacos out of my garage in like a 3-hour period.
Were you
okay, I think we've got something.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I had no clue. Like one dude came back, I kid you not, ordered like 10 tacos, and I'm like, all right, man, let's do this. And so we developed and we grew it, and it eventually turned into what it is. We found a truck in St. Louis, and that's a whole nother story in itself. We would need something stronger than coffee to get through that story. Yeah, it's a laughable story now, but at the time you're like, oh man, what am I doing? Why am I doing that? And as a business owner, I'm sure you've had similar instances where you're like, why am I in the middle of this?
Yes. I felt like this was a good choice, and now I'm really questioning it, but I'm in it. So here we go. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so the food truck took off way better than I expected. I mean, we had a line 75 deep day one, and it was humbling. And I'm still working an IT job, And eventually got to the point where it's like, you know what, it's the numbers are there. And it happened kind of overnight. I didn't expect to quit my job. That wasn't in the plan. But the numbers were like, dude, you need to take a look at that. And so we did, and it's just a little over a year now, and I haven't looked back. Like, it's been, I miss it, you know, I miss the people, I miss that kind of stuff, but this is who I'm meant to be. So
yeah. I mean, obviously I resonate with that a ton. And I love that we're both going to be downtown now, because I feel like we still get to like live in that world with our friends. But
yeah.
And I don't know if you experience this, because it's been a little over a year for me now too. I think I was like 6 months away from, you know, full-time working when one of the people on my staff was like, oh, I didn't know what it was like to have your full brain in here. And I didn't even realize, you know, like it is pretty hard to like fully give, you just don't realize it. I think you can be like a super person. And that was like a moment for me that was like, oh, okay, I think I made the right choice, but it's still scary. It's still scary.
Well, and
right, a year out.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure you went through this as well, but I thought, you know, oh, hey, I'm only going to have one job. I'm going to have all this extra energy and life is going to be so awesome and chill. And no, like, I felt like I worked myself even harder. Like, I felt like I was giving more of myself because I could now. I wasn't split between these, you know, things that I wanted to give 100% to in two different worlds. And, you know, once I was able to give 100% to one world, I didn't slow down. So
I agree. Yes. And then like, so before we go into like the next step in this beautiful space that we're going to talk about, I also really admire just the way that you have even just like fought in our community to elevate the food truck world and allow for like regulations to be stripped away. And it was very hard to have a food truck in Lincoln, and which is crazy that you did it through it and you did it so successfully. But will you talk a little bit about some of the things that you and your friends have
sure
changed in Lincoln?
You know, so Lincoln is a little tighter in the food truck industry, just because, you know, the restaurant game here, the chain restaurants, they are big business. They are the big money makers in this town. And I understand protecting that, but at the same time, that doesn't mean it should be restricting other industries from growing. And, you know, I got to the point where I was like, you know, I would love to be able to serve my friends in this area. I would love to be able to expand outside of, and trust me, I love the breweries. They're amazing. They've been amazing partners. I've gotten more free beer than I care to admit. But, you know, it's been great since, you know, things are starting to open up a little bit, and we're working on a food truck pilot program that unfortunately with COVID, kind of got put on the back burner because we don't want to be a source of infection, I guess, in our community. And we want to do it the right way. We want to do it responsibly. It will still happen. But, you know, it's really just working with the city, working with the right partners, developing those relationships. You go in and say, these are our demands and this is what we want. You're not going to get anything done. You build those relationships with your city council members and urban development. You learn who the city attorney is and get to know them. And, you know, through that, you know, I think they understand what we want. And it's not to take money away from big restaurant. It's not to take money away from, you know, our brick and mortar friends, because I am going to be one of them soon. It's to grow food. It's to get, you know, it's to get barbecue in an area that doesn't have barbecue. It's to get fish and chips in an area that maybe has not seen fish and chips before. And so it's super exciting to be a part of that. And I can't thank enough, you know, the people in our city that's been welcoming to that change.
I love the way that you put that too, is that it's like just opening up new opportunities. And it is like, it's a little bit smaller footprint, right? So you can experiment, you can try without, like, we both know now what it costs to rent space in Lincoln, and it's a scary step. And so if you're just starting and you're trying to figure it out, it seems like a really beautiful first step to be able to try a food truck. And it seems like what you're doing is going to help, open up some new worlds here.
I sure hope so. I mean, really, I think people have predetermined notion of where they want to eat. Like, you know, like, hey, I'm really craving a cheeseburger. They're going to walk around my taco truck and go and grab a great cheeseburger, you know? And once the pilot program comes and people see the amount of, you know, the variety of foods that they have being cooked inside of a truck, I think the city's going to really be excited about it.
Let's talk about you pivoting and, of course, also doing this during COVID.
Right. Let's open a restaurant during a global pandemic. Amazing.
No big deal. No big deal. This will be
Right.
a story someday when you look back. You're in your new space, which is beautiful, and I cannot wait to see it in real life. But talk a little bit about that jump and that leap and where you're at in the process.
Sure. It's funny looking back. I looked at my original business plan. Came across that in my Google Drive at the bottom of all the pit of paperwork that I do, and it said year 3, open a brick and mortar, and here we are.
That's amazing.
Fully year 3, looking at potential. I'm in my space right now, and it's humbling and it's exciting and it's scary as and but I'm so thankful. It's been a process where you sit down and you're like, can I do this? Is this something I can do? And I had those same questions when I opened a food truck.
Yeah.
And I had those same questions when we looked at expanding the food truck pilot program in the city. And I think if you don't have that nerve, if you don't have that like question and that drive behind it, you won't be as successful. And I still question to this day, what the hell am I doing? But I've surrounded myself with amazing people who see the vision, see what we want to do, and people that are willing to help me lift it up. And without them, this is nothing. So, I'm really excited to take the pivot from a food truck into a brick and mortar, but then also expand the food truck. This isn't and that's probably the number one question I get is, are you going to be stopping the food truck now that you're going to have this beautiful space? And my answer is always hell no. Like we're going to blow it up even more. We're going to expand it into Omaha. We're going to have our own Omaha truck hopefully next year. And then with the goal of having an Omaha space in 2 years. So much stuff that we want to do. Yeah. Expand the taco empire, if you will.
I fully support.
Right.
How did you kind of help build out your team and how has that transition been to just like giving your food over to someone else to manage while you're creating this space? Those are big
it's tough. I have an amazing full-time food truck partner. Her name is Sawyer, and just came across in an interview, and her dream was to open a food truck one day. And she's 20 years old, and just the other day I let her drive my baby. Florida is her name, my truck's name, Florida. I let her drive to Elkhorn, and by herself, she ran a food truck event out there with some, with one of our teammates, and they killed it. And I wasn't there, and it was a little sad. It was a little surreal, but if you don't have that trust in your team, I don't find you're going to be successful. And I've found people that I can fully trust completely, and it's unnerving at times, but man, it's so exciting when it works out. And I can't wait for the day that Sawyer opens her own food truck and brings her passion and her style into it. It's going to be great. It's going to be a sad day for me, but it's going to be great for our community because that's what I want. Like I want to hire people that have dreams of, okay, I want to be a barista here, grow it, and then open my own coffee shop. Or I want to be a bartender here and maybe go and open my own bar. And I want people that have that kind of drive.
Dude, I love the way that you love people, and I like the way that you lead, and just the way that like you love our community. Like you are a very special human. I'm glad to call you my friend.
Well, thank you.
Well, we're going to make you a candle, and
yes.
It's a jalapeno margarita candle.
Oh my gosh!
It was designed by Allie Laing, so it has this really cute sugar skull, and then it has your amazing logo on the bottom. So it's just
my gosh,
dripped in.
Beautiful. Cool. Have you seen the OG? Hang on, I'm gonna do one of these real quick.
Yeah. Sure.
Look at that.
Oh, we get the reveal.
That's a little sneak peek of what they're doing.
Goodness,
how amazing is that, right?
I'm blown away with the talent that you have, like creating this space, and like I cannot wait. I cannot wait to basically every day.
I'm taking, honestly, Alicia, I'm taking zero credit for all like this team that we've put together. They asked me, they're like, "What can we do?" I said, "Do it."
It's Emma, Katie, Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else in your? I mean, obviously you have like a
On
whole,
the design side, that's them.
okay.
Yep. But I've got a ton of great people that are helping pull out drywall and clean out our beer kit, our beer cooler, and do electrical and do all this stuff. I mean, but the design work, yep, it's Emma, Kate, and Allie, and they're blowing my mind every single day.
They're so cool. I've been
They
watching
really are.
Instagram, and like it's more than a project, it feels like to them. Like there's so much passion, and I think between you and that team, it's just like infusing so much energy into that space.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about, okay, so what's the plan? When's the grand opening? Are we on target? How do we support you?
Sure.
That was 11 questions, so good luck.
Yeah. So really, it's just a matter. It's a waiting game right now to see, when can we get all this stuff done that requires approval from the city,
okay,
before they can hand me a permit. So we've got a lot of plumbing, a lot of electrical, a lot of equipment coming in. So I hope 2 weeks. I mean, that's kind of the goal,
okay,
is to have 1 or 2 friends and family events
okay,
where we work out some kinks, and then then it's go time. So
that's so exciting. And what can we expect? Like, what will be different within this space that's a little different than the food truck? And what do we
sure. I have an amazing new smoker coming, and it costs more, I think, than the birth of both of my children. And but it's going to allow us to triple our smoked meat output. It'll allow us to do a lot more specials throughout the week that are, that you wouldn't get on the truck. So, in the truck, our core items are tacos, queso nachos, and a hatch queso mac and cheese, with pulled pork, chicken, and brisket. That's our core food truck menu. In the shop, we're going to have like a 3-meat platter with a side of hatch mac and charro beans instead of, or you can get refried beans. And instead of, you go to a barbecue joint and you get cornbread. Here, we're going to give you a couple tortillas and some, hatch chili slaw, and kind of give you that barbecue vibe without, while also satisfying, your Southern taco cravings as well.
Love that.
So
it's so fun to dream up this menu and
it's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one fun thing that I think we're going to do is smoke some beef ribs, those dinosaur beef ribs, put it on top of a bed of pinto beans and just smother it in queso and avocado crema, give you a couple tortillas and a fork and go nuts. I mean, it's just going to be so much fun. We're going to have a lot of fun in here with food, for sure.
I feel like you're going to have a line out the door regularly. Like,
I hope so.
We're so ready for this. How can we support you, though? And specifically, like, as you're moving into the reopening, how can we as a community help shout out that? And then when you do open, should we each come by 8 tacos a day? Have you done the number? This is how many tacos I need to sell each day.
Sure.
47 people.
Honestly, I think just come in, whenever, word of mouth is always a big deal. I don't pay for advertising. I don't pay for, radio ads or TV ads or anything like that, newspaper, none of that.
People have
it's all social media. It's all word of mouth. So the biggest thing I could ask for anybody who wants to support me is, come in the door, come say hi to me. Let me pour you a drink. Let me get you a margarita and a taco. But then when you go home, give us a review on Facebook, or, share your experience with your friends. And, and if you didn't love it, talk to me. Like, I think that's the biggest thing, where you see a lot of these Facebook groups pop up now, and, you hate when people are bashing on local people who are just trying to do amazing things. And COVID changed everything for food. Like, it was awful to see. And, you hate to see those reviews where, like, man, sometimes things just don't work the way you want it to that day. And
are you saying, like, specifically it was like everybody had to pivot and try and deliver, and it was like everybody figuring it out at once, and it was new, and
and then you're having to, you're working with 25% of your staff, because you had to furlough 3/4 of them because you can't afford to pay them, or they're making more money in unemployment than they were working for you. And that's just the honest truth of it. And you hate to see that, but at the same time, you want your people to be taken care of one way or another. And so you may just have a crummy day, and things don't go the way they're supposed to. And
No, I think that makes total sense. So shout you out before your opening. We'll watch. Yep. We'll watch all the social medias to know when it's coming, so we can all shout it out. Show up, eat the tacos, drink the marg. Yep. That sounds great to
me.
Drink
the margs, drink the coffee. Yep.
Yeah. And then reviews, which that's actually a really good piece of advice, because I think I hadn't even thought about how important reviews are, but they are. And it's very easy as a community to come alongside you. We already love your stuff, to just make sure everybody gets to know. I'm so excited about this. Okay, let's pour your cute little
Let's see it.
So we'll, of course, sell these on the website, and the proceeds of all these sales go to the Lincoln Food Bank. It's been our project throughout this whole pandemic. Yeah. But also, and I don't know if the girls told you this, but we are gifting you some for your grand opening. So these will be scattered along. Yeah, we have to. We're so excited. So you'll have some of these too, for the evening to set the audience, right? And here we go.
That's amazing.
So cute. The best part I feel about distance is that I get to pour all these really fun candles and create candles together with like amazing creatives like yourself. And then I always keep a couple. And I just have
you have to.
Incredible collection that makes me just think of all of my friends, doing crazy things, and it's cool.
What's your process like from A to B? So from like conception to pouring, like what does that look like for you?
Oh, that's such a good question. Thanks for asking that.
You're very welcome.
For instance, like with yours, just kind of trying to I do a lot of like looking and reading and experiencing, like as much as I can, the brand. And we even joked around a little bit where we were like, should we make a taco candle? And then decided like, I'm not sure if that's what.
No one wants to smell cumin in their room. Maybe, I don't know.
They can't eat it, right? It's almost like,
right.
Like I want to smell a taco that I'm going to get to eat.
Sure.
Started just thinking about like, okay, well, what's fun? Because I know we went like some coconut routes. We did a bunch of samples. And so usually I'll blend and we'll test, and then we burn, and then we do it all again until you're like, oh my gosh, that's it. And I feel like with each time, and I hope that was the experience, because you said too, like you smelled it and you're like, this is a very limey, bright margarita. Like I usually feel like once we hit it, you're like, that's it. And then of course do some burns to make sure that it's going to throw hot and cold. And then, so yeah.
That's awesome.
That's very simplified, but yes. And it's like, it's just fun. It's super fun. It feels like medicine.
That's great. Well, I mean, passion comes out in everything. And it's been, as a friend who worked with you, before, like, it's been so much fun to see your journey and your shop grow. And like, I admire like all your posts, and like, man, it's so inspiring to watch you as a fellow business owner. So just want you to know, like, you're killing it too. And I just appreciate all you do for our community. And thank you for stepping up and donating money to the food bank. And it's just, they have my heart so much. And you're awesome, dude.
Thank you. You totally feel me. So you actually had did some really fun things with the Lincoln Food Bank all throughout this like pandemic as well, right?
Oh, hey. That's amazing. Oh my gosh.
I was really excited that I was talking to you. Ox is the chef in our family. So he went.
Oh, nice.
Here you go.
We got to get some food truck stickers.
To go potty. That's what he's coming.
Oh yeah, me too.
You should. He knows your food truck. He knows your tacos, and he has like a little kitchen over in our kitchen. And so when John cooks, he cooks, and he even puts on Facebook because he listens to his podcast and he cooks.
Oh my gosh!
Like, he was excited that I was talking.
Well, we got to get him in the truck sometime then.
Oh, he would die. He would totally die. Okay, sorry for the tiny.
No, that's okay. I don't have naked people walking in here yet. Maybe someday.
We'll see. Depends on how many margs you serve, right?
Yeah, you got to get a few margs, and then we'll see what happens. We got a perfect bar for it, so whatever. Food bank. Yeah. So, pre-COVID, we partnered with them quite a bit, and I think maybe the most fun thing, and maybe the most gut-wrenching and like hard thing was around the holidays, we went and served a community staying in a place that we can't really talk about. These people have, their whole families in there, but then also there's some not fun stuff going on in the area. And, we took Thanksgiving dinner to them. We took Christmas dinner to them. We ended up feeding, I don't remember the exact numbers, but sitting down with these people and watching them have a plate full, like, I remember the look on this one guy's face where I just took him like an entire turkey leg. And just, he's like, you could just see the thankfulness and in it, man. Like, I'm a crier anyway. But like, man, it was so hard and yet so humbling to be a part of something like that. And you just, life is so much bigger than any of the shit that's going on right now. And, people are still struggling with hunger, and people are still struggling with homelessness. And imagine doing that during a pandemic and, everything else. It just, it's heartbreaking. And so what the food bank does to love on their community, Michaela, especially over there, just like, man, I have so much love for them. And anytime they need me, I drop everything and help them out, because they're just amazing people.
Oh, I love that. Oh, I love your heart so much. And I agree. Like, I feel like we're so lucky. I mean, the Lincoln Food Bank it's just, yes, you said it.
Yeah.
Take care of our community, and they do it so humbly, and they just kind of quietly do it. The more that I researched about them, the more that I was like, I didn't even realize all of the things that they were doing.
They are not bragged on enough at all. They really should be. And, the fact that we quietly fed, I don't know, 100 families, like, and, you don't do it for the notoriety. Sure, it's nice to hear, but it's not anything, you don't do it for that reason. And this was the perfect example of us being able to share grace and share love. And, we grew up in a house that, didn't have a ton. We weren't like, banking on anything really. My mom had me at 18. So we struggled like everyone else. And, so to be able to give back, just, man, I have to. I have to.
I love it. Oh, all right, friend. We will be in your taco shop very soon.
Yes.
We'll be shouting it out until then. And I'm just so grateful to have been able to jump on with you today and hear your heart, hear your story. I feel like we could talk for like 6 more hours.
Oh, absolutely.
We'll have tacos next time. So.
Oh, and margaritas for sure.
Yes. Plan. It's a plan. Man, I wish you all.
Well, thank you so much for having me on, and thank you very much.
Oh my gosh, yes. I sure love you. I'll see you very soon.
You be good.
Thank you too, Nick. Bye.
See ya. Bye.
As I promised, he is an amazing human. And I'm very excited for this candle. As always, the proceeds of this candle will go to the Lincoln Food Bank. And just keep an eyes on the social medias under Nick Maestas and the Muchachos food truck, as we can kind of follow along in the adventure and find ways to support him. Supporting someone that opens a taco shop, I feel like, is kind of dreams in support land. So I'll be there eating zillions of tacos and drinking margs. And I encourage you to do the same. You will not regret it. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's been so fun. I'll see you soon. Bye.